What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics here, sometimes referred to as Neo. Just kind of depends on people's moods. Uh, Here for the weekly sports card market update and news. We're gonna pop around to all three major sports, check in on some risers and fallers. Not really a ton of news today, as I hit pretty much all the news on Saturday's video. Probably get a quick little preview of content to come throughout the week. But we're gonna lead off with the Xenia Show. I went to it's a show that happens every month, but it's the first time that I went to it. So we're gonna open with that and talk a little bit about that, and then dive into the charts and graphs. So like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff down below. We'll be using market movers today, so if you want to check that out, links to that are in the description down below as well. Let's talk about Xenia Show. Xenia had about a 3-hour drive for me, give or take. They do this show, I believe, monthly. This is my first time attending. It was a gorgeous day. Decided to run down there. It's in 2 buildings. It's in a fairgrounds. It's outdoors. It's not outdoors. It's in a non-temperature controlled environment. But Saturday was perfect. It was 80 degrees. There was a nice breeze. They advertised 175 tables. I don't know that they hit quite 175, but there was probably a solid 125 to 150. I was there shortly after they opened, met up with one of the guys that I met at Card Collector 2's trade night, James, hung out with him for a while most of the show. Only made one pickup, but I sold a bunch of stuff. There's one guy that lives down in the Dayton area, I believe, that I met at Card Collector 2 trade nights, the first one, that had bought a bunch of raw stuff off me. And we did another deal. He went through my box. I had a bunch of stuff. I have like a row. So in my slab box, I have a row of stuff that's like, this is the stuff I would 100% trade slash sell, like no questions asked. And then I have another row of like, this is the spicy stuff. I'll probably only trade this if it's something that I really want. So he went through the one side, picked out a bunch of stuff. We ended up doing probably about a $1,600 cash deal where I moved him a bunch of slabs at 80%. He's like, I pay 80%. I was like, cool. Like I said, we've done business before. I have no problem. If it's something I'm willing to move, taking 80% on it. I'm going to lose 13% to eBay if I sell online anyway. The extra 7% between shipping, eBay nonsense, all that jazz, I'll gladly take a 7% hit on that to just bang, especially because he bought probably 10 slabs off me. Mostly like $200 to $300 slabs, like Baker Mayfield optic base, a Lubob pink refractor, an Acuna Topps chrome base. Nothing crazy high end. Most expensive card was probably 250, 275 bucks. So nice, simple, easy transaction. I will do those all day long, especially if it's stuff that I'm looking to move. And then my one pickup, which I posted this on IG, a Baker NT booklet. I know. I'm sure people in the comments will be mad about all the Baker I've been buying, but suck it up, buttercups. I live in Cleveland or the Northeast Ohio area. So funny enough, I went in not necessarily looking for anything specific. I was very open about what I was looking for, which was basically just anything that caught my eye. One of the first tables I walked up to was actually Logan, who works at Card Collector 2's shop. Had this in his case. There was another guy. Well, I shouldn't say this one. He had this exact card, different one in his case. There was a guy working a deal on it. He was trying to trade for it. He had 500 stickered on it. I stepped back just to check comps. The last comp was 650, not that long ago. The comp before that was 400, but it was about 2 months old, a month and a half old. And with one just selling for 650, he had 500 on this. I felt like that was a perfectly fair price to ask. If anything, I probably would have had it stickered at 650, just since that was the last comp, and Baker auto stuff moves pretty easy in these parts. So I was very interested in it, very, very interested in it. And I lurked around the table while they were working their trade, hoping that it kind of fell through. I didn't want to be that guy. Have etiquette, people. I could have easily been like, oh, I'll give you 500 cash right now for that. But that's not the cool thing to do. Do not do that. If two people are working a deal, do not stick your nose in their business unless they ask you to. And most likely they're not. So just stand there and be quiet, even if you want the card. That is proper form Don't be an idiot. Which I usually don't see that very much. So I stood patiently by. He bought it, or they ended up pulling a trade. I was sad. And then when I walked around the rest of the show, the person that traded for it actually had a table, and they had it in their case for $750. So that was not the great way to start the show. I met up with my friend James, took a lap around, swung back past Logan's table again, and we were just chit-chatting with him. And I said, I'm so sad you traded the Baker booklet. I was just getting ready to make you a cash offer on it, but I didn't want to, mess up what you guys had going on. And he's like, well, I have a second one. And I was like, oh, are you looking to move it? Because it wasn't in the showcase. And he didn't seem really eager to move the first one. And he's like, well, yeah. He's like, we just didn't have time to put it back out again. I was hoping not to move them, but it is what it is. I said, you had 500 on the last one. I said, what's the best you'll do? I'll do full cash right now. I said, I won't even monkey around with a trade. Just give me a number. And I honestly would have just paid straight 5 for it. He came back 480, and I said, sure, that's more than fair. I already knew the comps. Like I said, I knew one had just sold for 650 a week or two ago, and the prior comp to that was 400, but that was like June. And a lot's happened since then, especially for Baker higher end stuff. So 480 seemed like a perfectly fair number. I didn't even give him a number back. I said, done. If people give me fair numbers, I'm not going to bicker back and forth. I could have said 470 just to get an extra $10 off, but I thought the price was more than fair already. So I took it. So Baker booklet in hand. What this has freed me up to do is move a lot of lower end Baker. So I mentioned I sold that guy a bunch of stuff. So what I've been doing now that I have some nicer Baker, colored, numbered stuff, autos, is taking profits on my low end Baker, like PSA 10 Optic, PSA 10 Select Premier, and some other stuff like that. I have been, if people are interested in it, I've been selling it to recoup money back in. So really, I traded a bunch of random PSA 10 slabs for this and like 1,100 in cash, if you want to think of it that way. So, but now I'm loaded. I have another card show today. If you guys and girls are watching this on Sunday, I have the Rated Rip show today. So depending on when you're watching this, I will be roaming around the Rated Rip show. I plan to get there right around 9 a.m. I usually like to get the shows right when they open. So, but newest addition to the old Baker collection / PC. This is one. The other reason why I wanted to get this is because if Baker misses, he misses, whatever. Sure, I'll be upside down on a bunch of autos. It is what it is. That's the game that we play. If Baker hits, this is one that I would move. I do not want to move the flawless. I don't want to move the immaculate just because I really like the looks of that card. But if his stuff really spikes, I probably would move this just to take some profits back out. Though these booklets are criminally underrated. They look really nice. They're great display pieces. So this will probably be a centerpiece on the desk. They take up a lot of space in the case, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens. I'll have it in my case. It's a Rated Rip show. Maybe I'll end up flipping it faster than I thought, but I wouldn't mind actually holding on to this one. And I would probably be willing to move like the Panini one at some point in time as a lower end RPA. So, but yeah, Xenia Show was good. Good turnout. I would go again. I would not go every month just because of the drive. If I lived closer, I would 100% go all the time. But the 3-hour drive is a little prohibitive, but I think it was worth running down there, especially since I did all those sales. That was with one guy. I got kind of lucky that guy was there. But if I would have walked out with just this for 480, I would have felt pretty good about the show, to be quite honest. So, Rated Rip Sunday, very close, very easy for me to get to. So I'll be checking that one out. Let's go ahead and transition over to our charts and graphs. But before we do, we have a quick word from our sponsor over the people at My Slabs. Once again, if I've talked about them a few times on the channel now, if you're not at least checking them out, I really don't know what you're doing. 1% seller fees, 1% buyer fees, and you have your cards in hand. Guess what? You could post them on multiple places, and if you price them correctly, they will move. My Slabs actually released a press release this week talking about how they had their best selling day since the peak in February in regards to sales. So that's a pretty good sign to me. So a quick word from our sponsor, and then we will transition into market movers.
Tired of paying 10%, 15%, or more to sell your cards, comics, and digital collectibles? How does 1% sound? Too good to be true? Well, not anymore. MySlabs.com is the web's premier user-driven marketplace for buying and selling slabbed cards, sealed wax, and now slabbed comics and digital collectibles. So the next time you're forced to pay 10% or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com and join the 1% revolution.
Once again, thanks to MySlabs for sponsoring today's video. Let's go ahead and dive into the good old market movers here. Going to start with football, touch on baseball really quick, and then end with basketball. Football, I did something a little different and went back 30 days on a bunch of key quarterbacks just to kind of, once again, see where the vibe's going on the market with football. It really feels like, which I guess this makes sense. Spoilers, prices really are just staying flat. They're not going down, but they're not like massively spiking up on a lot of key quarterbacks. And I think that kind of goes back to what, I've talked about it with Dakota, with Steve, with Dustin, with Sam on various videos post-national. I feel like people don't know what to do with football. I think they're afraid to go crazy buying it, at least a segment, because they're worried prices are going to go down once the season starts. And then I think you have your normal side that they're just buying football because it's time to buy football. Now, football is very liquid. Like, you could move it. Football was moving at the Xenia Show today. Football was moving at the National, but it's not moving up in price. So essentially, my college professor would be so proud, to go back to the old economics, supply is essentially meeting demand right now. And the prices are staying flat. They're not really going up. I mean, they're slightly trending up, slightly trending down, but we're not seeing major big spikes and swings, which feels right, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't just going crazy specking on these guys this time around like they did last year. You're not seeing these massive price increases based purely on spec. So I think what that means is, if you believe in a player and they perform well once the season starts, like whoever comes out hot the first couple weeks of the season, their prices are going to go up. And I think it's going to be a I guess more natural. My prediction, I guess, would be, as of right now, is that it's going to be a more natural up and down. A player goes good for 3 weeks, their stuff's really going to go up. A player plays bad, their stuff is probably going to dip. I know that this sounds like world altering. Oh my God, what rocket scientists, equations did you break out to figure this genius material? But in the past, prices just went up this time of year for no reason whatsoever. Basically just pure spec, pure hype. And we're not seeing that this year. But football is moving. I can 100% attest to that. Everywhere I go, everyone is looking for football, but they're looking for it at current comps, and current comps aren't moving up, is what it is. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to do, if a player has a good couple weeks and it's someone that you truly don't believe in for like long term, which in football you really shouldn't, I think it's very much going to be someone has a good couple weeks, sell it, get out of it, and then go put money into someone maybe playing poorly. And then get into them. And yeah, some players will hold value throughout the entire season. See, like Josh Allen last year, we'll just put together a magical season and his stuff will go to the moon. But I think that's what this season is going to be more dictated off of. As of right now, my prediction is that it's going to be much more performance based than hype based. And we're not seeing the massive influxes prior to the season starting. Now, we still have a few weeks. A lot can change in a couple weeks. We all know that. But as of right now, it looks like supply is meeting demand. So let's look at some data. Mahomes, PSA 10 silver and PSA 9 silver of his 2017. This is going back once again 30 days. You could see the 10 is up very slightly at 6%, and the 9 is up very slightly at 16%. Now, I know a lot of people will say, oh God, the 10's 10K and the 9 is 2K. The 9's way too cheap. Not so fast, my friends. This is one of those ones that I talked about in the Trae Young video. You have to pay attention to the pop. The pop on the 10 is 875. The pop on the 9 is 2100. These are very, very tough grades in 10s. We've talked about this a bunch. There is a known surface issue on these cards that are on a ton of them, a dimple. And they are also really hard on centering. So 10 pop state is very restrictive on these because of whatever printing errors or issues that they had when this set was printed. So the 10 carries an extra value. So that's why you're seeing almost, what is that, like a 4 something X difference between 9 and 10. Here it makes sense. When the pop is more balanced out, it's usually about 3X. Very, very important to remember this when you're looking at this stuff. Because some people would see this and immediately be like, oh, the nine's way too cheap. Dig a little deeper, go one step deeper, and look at the pop counts. So that's his prism. His optic, which I always like to pull the optic with the prism because the prism is so high end. There's not a ton of people buying a 10K Mahomes card. His PSA 10 and PSA 9 optic over the last 30, kind of the same. The PSA 10 is up 8%. The PSA 9 is up 12%. And here we see the inverse, actually. Here you might be saying, oh God, the PSA 10 is way too cheap. It's 1,800. The 9's doing 700. Well, once again, come look at the pops. PSA 10, there's 3,100 in a 3,100 pop in a PSA 10, 2,100 in a PSA 9. So the 10s are actually more common than the 9s are. So it makes sense that this is a strictly 3x value, because otherwise, that would be what, 2,100 for the 9 at 3x. So it makes sense that this is a little under 3x for the 9 and the 10. So that 3x rule does not always, it's not a set in stone rule. It's a very much, take it one step deeper and double check the pop counts. If the pop counts are around even, should be around 3x, give or take a little bit. So once again, these prices have also slightly crept up. So if you want to get into Mahomes, nothing's really happened yet. If he comes out and plays out of his mind, I'm going to guess this stuff's going to go up. We'll see. Let's look at Kyler, Baker, Lamar, and Josh Allen. These are all PSA 10 prisms. I have no problems looking at base prism for football because the pop counts are low. Baker's is 885. Josh Allen's is 1100. Lamar's is 600. And Kyler in the 19 class is 2300. Not super crazy, but you can see a big jump there from 18 to 19. Let's head down here and look at some numbers. Once again, flat to slightly down. Josh Allen up 10%. A lot of that is to his recent boost from the contract extension. He did not see as big of a boost as we have seen in other sports, in previous contract extensions back when the market was crazy town. But he did get a little bit of a bump because of that. Lamar Jackson being down the most is a little surprising, down 14%. Once again, this is over the last month, so the last 30 days. Baker Mayfield, perfectly flat. This has been a PSA, or his PSA 10 prism has been around $400 for probably 2 months, actually. And then Kyler Murray down 8% at 380. Not surprising, it's a little bit cheaper. One, just because there's a lot more of them. So keep that in mind. So, once again, you look at the charts and graphs, basically look flat, a little bit of down on Lamar there, a little bit of up on Josh Allen from the recent contract extension. And he has been getting a lot of hype this offseason so far. I would look at silvers, but silvers are so rare. Talked about this a bunch on 18 that it is not worth looking at. 1 or 2 sell a year on 2018 football. So one player with more recent charts. I went back 7 days on this one. This was one of the biggest losers on the week. Deshaun Watson silver prism from 2017, down 20%, down $160. Back under 600, had a little run up there with some practice rumors at 730. I think I mentioned this before. That was your window to get out. And then more bad news came out with human trafficking charges potentially getting levied against him this week. Him not showing up, or the Texans holding him out of practices and games. I don't know what's going to happen here. Maybe there's another window where you could buy in low and sell again, but it's not for me. It is not for me. This is way too risky for my tastes. There are much safer plays to make, much better places to put your money. I want zero part of the Deshaun Watson roller coaster. I was on it for 48 hours, 72 hours back in the summer, and that was plenty long enough for me. So maybe I'm a bad person to ask about Watson because I got burned there, but no thanks. Pass. Let's hop over and talk some baseball. Pretty much The guys going up are all White Sox. Eloy Jimenez has had an absolutely torrid start coming off the DL. This is his Topps Chrome, his base, his refractor, and his pink. Basically all up 15 to 20%. There was one rogue one-off sale of his base refractor that pulled it down to 163. You can see that here. But I think that someone just got a really good deal. Everything else on this card has been going right around $200. So in my opinion, it's a $200 card, not a $163 card. If you could convince someone to sell it to you based off that last comp, I would jump all over that. But I don't think you will. He's had multiple home run games already. Like, he is back and swinging. And the White Sox are legit good. They're probably going to make a deep playoff run. So his stuff's going to stay around for a while. But he is one of the hottest players in the league right now, pricing wise. And Lou Bob also getting a little buzz. He came back this week as well. I don't know that he's done much yet, but to be fair, I haven't paid that close attention. But his base chrome got a nice little bump up 27%. Refractors actually stayed flat, and the pink has actually stayed flat. These might be due for a little bump. If he does anything at all, his prices will really spike. He was extremely popular last year as the number one hyped rookie last season. And then, coming into this year, he was getting a lot of buzz and then got hurt. Had a decent start average wise, but his power was down a little bit. And then he had the hip, I believe it was a hip injury for Lou Bob. So, like I said, I believe if he does anything at all, hits a couple home runs, whatever, gets on the highlight reels, hits the Twitterverse, hits social media, I think his stuff will spike back up again. And once again, White Sox are going to be around for a while. They have a very good record and will probably be a player in the playoffs. Let's talk about it. Bull Bull is back on the charts as we transition over to basketball. Bull Bull played in a summer league game. Bull Bull did Bull Bull things in a summer league game. Bull Bull prices spiked because of things he did in a summer league game. PSA 10 Silver Prism on the week up 42% from 110 to 160. I just can't. Bull Bull. Bull Bull. One of the biggest. This is the most random week of NBA guys going up I can remember in a long time. I thought we got a little smarter than this, but I guess we didn't. Bull Bull up 42%. Malik Monk, your other big winner of the week. Told you, random guy week on the NBA charts. Over the last 7, I believe, or did I do 14 on? I did 14 on this to catch the full news. I missed this one last week. He is up over the last 14 days, 206%, and this is a Silver Prism as well. From $75 to $230, all because he went to the Lakers. Now, as we like to say around these parts, I would be dumping this as fast as humanly possible. You made your money. Sell it. Don't get greedy on this one. From a real-life NBA perspective, I think Monk is a really good fit on the Lakers, and he's probably going to have some pretty good games. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get, and I don't know how many shots he's going to get. I think he's a great fit for the team. I don't think that makes him necessarily have a good card. If you wanted to make your money on Monk, I feel like you missed the window. You should have bought it already and flipped it. I would not be buying into Monk at these prices. If I had Monk, I don't have any. I would probably be selling everything that I had. If they dipped way back down again, so say like, what the card market usually does, stuff spikes way up, goes crazy. It stays there for a couple days. People get bored with it and it comes back down again. If his stuff came back down again, I might be intrigued if you want to prospect a little bit and pick something of his up. But I really just feel like if you wanted to do that, we missed the window. Is what it is. No one saw him going to the Lakers on a 1-year deal. He could have a very good season there and then get paid next year, not even necessarily by the Lakers. So, but missed the window on Monk. Once again, when guys like this, Monk, Bull, whatever, when their prices spike like this, just move the stuff. If it bites you, it bites you. But if you take wins like this on a consistent basis, you'll do just fine in this game that we all play. Next up, my man crush, KPJ. He got a bump this week. Why, I don't know. He's not even playing in Summer League. PSA 10 Silver Prism up $50, 20% jump. I will say this. The Rockets are going to suck next year, but my God, are they going to be a fun League Pass team. Sengun looks really fun. Jalen Green looks legit. Throw in KPJ, that Christian Wood. The team, they're not going to win a lot of games, but I do think they are going to be very, very fun to watch. I'll probably talk about this in a video this week. This NBA rookie class looks really good. I'm not going to go crazy chasing a bunch of these guys because most of their prices are going to be super overinflated right out the get. But this class is going to have a lot of hype behind it. They all played extremely well in Summer League. They all looked really good. Jalen Suggs looks legit. Evan Mobley looked like a fun project for the Cavs. Jalen Green looks like a monster, who I really wanted the Cavs to get. Cade Cunningham is going to be probably a very good player, but I don't know that he's going to be flashy enough to grab the card market angle. And I really don't like the way the Pistons are using him. I really just think they just need to make him the point guard and just bring Killian Hayes off the bench and be done with it. But I think they're going to try to force Killian Hayes down our throats and play Cade off the ball, which I think is a mistake in my opinion. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of really good players in this draft. They might not necessarily all be good for cards, but there will be some that are good for cards. Jalen Green specifically is going to get a lot of hype, in my opinion. Maybe justifiably so. He looked really good in Summer League. And I do like what I saw out of Mobley from the Cavs. He was the second player that I wanted behind Green for the Cavs. So I was not sad that they got Mobley. I think he has interesting long-term upside. A lot of people are comparing him to Chris Bosh. So we'll see where he goes there. But the Rockets are going to be a fun League Pass team for sure. Another one going way up this week. Once again, from the free agency news, Kelton Johnson silver up 35%, $80 jump, 225 to 300. And this is based off DeRozan leaving the team. That team does not have a go-to player. Their go-to player is probably going to be KJ. KJ was super hyped last year in the winter. I bought and sold a lot of KJ on Star Stock. Made a lot of money on KJ on Star Stock. I have a lot of KJ sitting at PSA with Star Stock in their second submission. Boy, I would like those cards back any day now. Star Stock, please. I like how the first PSA sub came back in a month, and the second one is going on 9 months, 8 months, and is still not back yet. I know that's not necessarily Star Stock's fault, but we got teased by that first submission and then screwed on the second one. I have a Kelton Johnson Silver Prism in that submission, 2 Kelton Johnson Select Concourse Silvers in that submission, and a DeAndre Hunter Silver Prism in that submission. I like all those cards. I don't remember the comps on the Concourse anymore. I just keep forgetting that I even have them out there with Star Stock. That was a January submission, so I don't know. I hope we get that stuff back prior to the NBA season starting at this point. We'll see what happens. But KJ got a really nice bump. He is probably going to be their go-to guy, and I've talked about this before a lot. There's certain guys in the card scene, and when I say guys, I mean players. There's certain players in the card scene that the hobby just loves. Kevin Porter Jr. is a perfect example. Bull, a perfect example. Basically, this entire list today of NBA guys. Keldon Johnson is one of those guys. Another one that got some burn this week, I did not pull his chart, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, another one of those guys. Anything happens with a certain segment of players that for whatever reason, the hobby darlings just fall in love with them, the smallest little shining beacon of hope, and their prices go insane. Like I said, Bull is the poster child for this. I'll take some blame for KPJ. Keldon Johnson's another one. There's just a certain segment of players, and if you know them, you can make a lot of money flipping them based off just buying them low and then holding out hope for something to happen to spark interest in them. That's what I did with KPJ when I loaded up on him last year after the Cavs ditched him at his low. I loaded up on Star Stock on PSA 10 Prisms. I think I bought 5 or 6 of them at like $60 a pop and was selling them for $200-300 a pop at one point in time. I don't remember. Because I knew the second he went to the Rockets, I bought because I knew he was going to get a ton of playing time with the Rockets because the Rockets sucked. And lo and behold, he did. When KPJ gets on the floor, the dude can put buckets. It's the off the floor stuff that scares the hell out of you with KPJ. So we'll see what happens with these guys. 9 times out of 10, take your profit and run. KJ is one that's a little bit more intriguing to me. He actually seems like a legitimate NBA player and not like a fly-by-night thing. So does KPJ, but he has the off-court concerns. Malik Monk is going to be a 3-point shooter. Just sell it. And bull. Let's close really quick here with Ja and Zion, just to check in. Once again, went back. What did I do back on this one? 2 weeks, 14 days on this one. So basically right up to the National or during the National 14 days ago would have been 7/31 was like Saturday at the National. PSA 10 Silver Prism, PSA 10 Silver Prism, Zion and Ja. Over the last 14 days, Ja actually down 10%, Zion actually up 10%, up to almost $3,400 now on the Zion Silver Prism. So that's slowly starting to tick back up again. I feel like people are forgetting about Ja Morant. Probably some interesting plays to be made here. I have my eyes peeled for an optic hollow of his at the right price. Maybe some PSA 9s. I don't know that I want to throw $1,200 at his Silver Prism. I would consider it. If I ran into one like at the Rated Rip show tomorrow, I would look potentially at least trade into it just to diversify a little bit. I don't have any Ja Silvers. I have the Optic Purple and I have some other stuff of his. But I've actually moved off. I had a lot of Ja base that I moved off of towards the end of last season. So, but still a big believer in Ja. That's all I have for you guys and girls today. Look for me at the Rated Rip show today. If you're watching this first thing in the morning, I am probably there literally right now. I'm posting this at 9 a.m. and the show starts at 9 a.m. So if you're on your way there, I don't know how long I'll be there for, but I will be roaming around there most of the morning. Like, comment, subscribe. Go check out my slabs if you want to buy or sell. Great site to use and utilize and leverage to your advantage. Tomorrow for Marvel Monday, not exactly sure what I'm doing yet. I have a product review that I need to do, but I just don't know that I'll have it ready for tomorrow. So if not, I'll probably come up with something else. And then Tuesday will be a PSA submission video reveal that actually was going to drop on Saturday and then pushed it back because of all the newsy bits that came out this week. So that'll be Tuesday's video. And then from there, I don't know the rest of the week. So once again, like, comment, sub. Guys and girls, have a fantastic weekend. Catch you on the next one. Peace.